Vegeta. This man is one of the most popular Dragon Ball characters of all time. One of the most popular anime characters of all time. And to be honest, one of the most popular animated characters of all time. In general, across the world. People love Vegeta. He is a moneymaker, a toy seller. You cannot go to Hot Topic. You cannot go to Spencer's. You cannot go to most stores without finding a Vegeta toy, a box lunch store. You can't go without finding a Vegeta action figure, a statue, a t-shirt. Vegeta is marketable. Vegeta is popular, is what I'm trying to say. Vegeta is a very interesting character. One of the most well-developed characters in the Dragon Ball series. I mean, his arc from the Saiyan saga all the way to the end of the Buu saga was fantastic. He had ups, he had downs. He was a villain, he was a anti-hero, and now he's a pure hero who wants to protect his family in the story canon. I mean, at one point in the before Dragon Ball Super came around, Vegeta had eventually put aside his ego and said, you know what? Goku's a better man than me. When Goku was fighting Buu at the end of the Buu saga, and decided, I just need to be here to support him so that we can save our family and save the Earth. I've already lost one race of people, an entire planet, to an evil tyrant. I will not let that happen again here and now. Vegeta sacrificed his life to try and defeat Buu, and also got a second chance and had to put his ego aside to fuse with Goku. It's an amazing story arc, and I think that Vegeta is an amazing character. With Vegeta, I do feel that he takes up a lot of time in the Dragon Ball world because of his popularity, and it does push characters that I absolutely adore aside. Before Vegeta showed up, characters like Tien, Krillin, Piccolo, all got around equal story development time. And when Vegeta showed up and became Goku's new rival, and eventually in Dragon Ball Super, Vegeta becomes Goku's right-hand man. Now, you don't see Piccolo or Tien or Krillin so much anymore. Yes, I mean, a lot of them have character-wise given up training and trying to surpass Goku. But I feel like if Vegeta wasn't around, maybe they would be more incorporated into the story. But that's not what this video is about. This video here is about a Vegeta prequel story that needs to be told, that needs to be elaborated on. We've seen flashbacks to Vegeta's childhood in the Broly movie, and I believe the Frieza saga. We get to see a child Vegeta. In the Bardock movie, we get to see a child Vegeta kicking ass and taking names with some Cybermen, which is not canon. But in the Broly movie, we do get to see a baby Vegeta in a container. We get to see the Ginyu Force again, and it was so exciting. It might have been the most exciting part of that movie for me personally, seeing Frieza's army again, together again, seeing King Vegeta. I mean, we even got to see a younger Nappa and Raditz. It's really very, very exciting for me as a Dragon Ball fan, a Dragon Ball Z fan. And I think that going into the future right now in Dragon Ball Super, things are becoming predictable and kind of not boring. I mean, it's not exciting. It's just the same thing. And characters have become so powerful that they can't even use regular hand-to-hand martial arts anymore because the characters have bigger and badder attacks that I mean, rarely do you get to see a character really go head-to-head in a hand-to-hand combat scenario. Where I think that the future of the Dragon Ball series, which is full of marketable characters like Vegeta, is spin-off series like a prequel Vegeta thing, is what I'm trying to say. I think that Vegeta, being as popular as he is, I mean, in some ways more popular than the main character Goku to some fans. Some people are die-hard Vegeta fans and just want to see him get a win, be the MC for a little bit, be the main character for a bit, and I think this is the way to do it. Rather you do a Vegeta movie, prequel movie, the history of Vegeta, kind of like the history of Trunks movie we love oh so much, which is a very good movie on its own without the series. A history of Vegeta movie would be great. Or a series, a Dragon Ball V, not Z, Dragon Ball V, representing Vegeta, obviously. Dragon Ball V, V as in Victor. We give Vegeta his own mini-series, maybe give it 20 episodes, maybe 24 episodes. It could be 2 seasons, 3 seasons, depends on how far you want to stretch it out. I mean, how much in depth you want to get with Vegeta's past. I mean, think about how Goku and Vegeta's life intertwined eventually when they met on Earth during the Saiyan saga. We all know, at least the true Dragon Ball fans who actually watched the OG Dragon Ball, the best part of the entire series, when Goku's a kid and he's going through all the trials and tribulations to become as powerful as he ends up being in the Saiyan saga, before he met Raditz and whatnot. Going through all the tournaments and character development. Maybe now understand here, I really think this could work, and I think a lot of people would flock to this series, and I think there's money being left on the table. Obviously, you'd want to have real fans of this series, of Vegeta, create this story. I mean, you'd want to get the creator involved, obviously, but Vegeta needs this story told. We want to see that blank period. We've seen flashbacks to Vegeta's childhood. We've seen pieces of it. We kind of understand what happened. He was basically a slave to Frieza. He was used to conquer different planets. Him, Nappa, and Raditz, and possibly other Saiyans, because at the end of the Broly, or not the end of the Broly movie, but when you get to see Nappa, there's 2 other Saiyans there that are still alive. And I'm curious if maybe a couple other Saiyans could have survived as well and could be a part of this series. You could have a band of Saiyans with Nappa, Raditz, and Vegeta, and possibly 2 Saiyans that could be involved in this story that could die in this anime series, because then we'll have some stakes here, some characters we never knew about that were alive that just didn't make it. We can find out that, what made Vegeta so ruthless. I mean, his father was killed, his people were killed. This series could be rather interesting. I mean, obviously the downside would be that we know where it ends. We know it would end with Vegeta heading to Earth to take on Goku for the very first time. The series would have to end basically with them sending Raditz to Earth. Which would be kind of a bummer ending. Maybe you would want an epic battle to end this Vegeta series. Maybe they get sent to a planet to conquer and they have to deal with some very powerful opponents. Who knows? There are some details here that would have to be ironed out. That's why maybe a movie would be better than a long, drawn-out series. But a History of Vegeta movie, or a DBV, series would be fantastic, and I think it would sell like gangbusters, people. I can't tell you how many Dragon Ball fans that I know. I would go watch it. I definitely wouldn't want it to be CGI like the new Dragon Ball movie coming out, Dragon Ball Super Hero in 2022. But I would want them to maybe give us some old school hand-drawn effect like they did with the Broly movie. I'd almost want it to look like that if possible, or at least like Dragon Ball Super. Go old school on it. This has got to be something special. This has got to be something that if people decided to go rewatch the entire Dragon Ball series, that they could rewatch this movie or this Vegeta series and say, oh, okay, I watched Goku's childhood. Let me watch the other main character of Dragon Ball Super's childhood. Let's watch Vegeta's childhood unfold in front of us, whether it be a 2-hour movie or a 1-season mini-series. I think that the people would flock to it, and I think that it's money being left on the table. A Dragon Ball show based around Vegeta's childhood, about how he overcame his family's death, even though he acted like he didn't care that his whole race was wiped out. Obviously he did. We can probably see him struggling with that. Another cool thing about this prequel series is the fact that we'll get to see characters like Zarbon and Dodoria and the Ginyu Force do more shit. I'm a big fan and advocate of the Ginyu Force. I think they are a really interesting group of villains that were in the Frieza saga that only get more, more valuable with time in my head as really fun characters. And I think that they wouldn't have to be a huge part of the series, but there could be an episode or a part of this series where Vegeta and Raditz and Nappa get punked by the Ginyu Force, because obviously they are way out of their league compared to them at this point. We get to see Vegeta become stronger. We get to see Vegeta and Nappa's relationship and where that dynamic is in this time in Vegeta's life, because Nappa's kind of like his uncle who kind of had to help raise Vegeta after his father died. I mean, that's pretty wild. Vegeta killed Nappa in the Saiyan saga. Maybe Vegeta has a reason for it. Maybe Nappa's been a dick face for the last few years. And maybe in this series we'll get to see something that Nappa does that eventually leads to Vegeta wanting to eliminate Nappa from the picture. Yes, in the series you basically get the fact that Nappa basically gets his back broken by Goku, and Vegeta's like, I don't need pawns that aren't able to fight, so you are just in the way, and he completely eliminates Nappa. But maybe there's a story behind that we just don't know about. There's a lot of open space here for the creators of the Dragon Ball series to work with, and as long as it's good, the fan base will accept it as canon. They could even release a Vegeta manga to go with this, or just release this series as a manga. I'd read the shit out of it. I think that it'd be very good. I think it'd be a really cool way to have more content to this series without continuously adding on more stakes into Dragon Ball Super, which we are doing right now in the manga. I mean, we're fighting literal gods and beyond. Maybe it's time to take a step back and develop a character that we've already known. One of the best developed characters in the entire series, Vegeta. Come on, don't tell me you don't want a Vegeta series or just a Vegeta movie. Don't tell me you don't want it, because I know you do. It just would have to be done by really good storytellers. They'd have to come up with a good reason for this to exist. They can't just half-ass this. If they can give us the same visuals that they gave us in the Broly movie flashback, I'm all in, people. A Vegeta show just a child Vegeta, a kid Vegeta on adventures with Nappa and Raditz. Not only do we get to see Vegeta develop, we get to see characters like Raditz and Nappa, who I believe are very cool characters, especially Raditz, who was killed off way too soon and never mentioned again. I feel he's probably got some, backstory that we would like to see. I mean, his father was Bardock. His brother is Goku. I mean, or Kakarot, which what they would call him. You got to think that Raditz has got to have some weird feelings going on here. I mean, he kind of grew up with Vegeta. It's very interesting. It makes me wonder, what does Raditz feel like being one of the weakest members of, the Frieza army? Really, he's not that strong compared to most of the Frieza army. And I want to know why. I mean, did Nappa and Vegeta just dog on him constantly? Were they a brotherly three, like that stuck together through thick and thin, that just kept each other going through this shitty life, having to serve Frieza? Were they just ruthless monsters the whole time? I mean, that's the only issue here. Vegeta was a terrible person before he met Goku and the gang, and Gohan and Krillin and whatnot. Vegeta was awful. Is there a way to tell this story without making Vegeta the main character, but not making him seem like a total piece of shit? Because obviously they'd have to make him a little bit less of a piece of shit, at least as a kid. Maybe throughout the series, he could slowly become more angry and more bitter, and that's why he becomes the person he is in Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball V, or History of Vegeta, I believe would sell tickets regardless of if it ended up being a good story or not. It would be fun to see Vegeta as a kid, is what I'm trying to say here. And I think that fans would enjoy it. I'm Mr. Morfetto. What do you guys think? Please like, share, and subscribe to the Mr. Morfetto page. What other characters in the Dragon Ball universe do you believe deserve their own movie, like the History of Trunks, or their own spin-off series? I've mentioned this before. I think that Tien, obviously Piccolo, and now I truly believe out of all of them, Vegeta would be the biggest seller. I think that we all want to see what Vegeta's childhood was like. I don't know if you could stretch it out to be more than one season or one movie, but I think it would be interesting and really fun to dive back into that world, that Frieza army, when Frieza was the ruler of his part of the universe, when Zarbon and Dodoria were around. I kind of want to see it. I want to see Raditz growing up. I want to see a young kid Vegeta conquering planets. Maybe have a planet that has worse villains on it that they can deal with as the main villain of this story. I don't know. The potential is endless. It would just take a very good storyteller, a good writer to come up with it. And I'm not that guy. But I think it would be very good. I will talk to you later.